Hello, it's Di here, and I've got a layout process video for Lottie Loves Paper, and I'm using the Storyteller collection from Vicki Boutin. Now, I absolutely love this mosaic paper that's in the new Storyteller collection, and I wanted to use it for one of my photos from Venice that we were very fortunate to be able to go to in September this year. The colours in this collection are quite warm. They're very autumnal, but they're all sort of like in hues of creams, pinks, browns, burgundies. So yeah, they would go well, very well, sort of autumnal type photos. But with the colours of the Venice, the buildings in Italy and things as well, I thought these would go. It would go quite well with those as well. So I'm just going to cut out some of these cut aparts from one of the papers, um, as I want to use one of the journaling cards. But then I also like that the typewriter with the butterflies coming out of it. So I'm just trying to figure out which ones I'm going to have and find the placement around the mats that I've cut out underneath with the papers. I decided that I'm not quite sure about the brown around the typewriter, so I fussy cut it, which you can see I've sort of like skipped out of the video, and I've sort of like placed it on the right hand side of the photo. And the reason I cut down the burgundy paper a bit was the butterflies were getting lost on it, so I thought, well, I'll just have it sort of like minimal amount on there so that the butterflies don't get too lost. And I wasn't quite happy with my photo wasn't quite standing out from the photos, so I've just matted it with a very thin outline of black card, just to make it pop that little bit off of the butterfly paper which is behind it. I've mounted the photo and mat on some foam tape, and then I realised why the papers and the everything just wasn't sitting right with me. Is that I think the straight line cuts on the papers were too straight in a way, and because the outside of the main paper is sort of got like a bit of a distress look, I've decided to distress just with the edge of my scissors, distress the other papers. I was a little bit rough with the distressing, so it ripped the papers, but I quite like that I've ripped them in a way, so I've sort of like naturally left the rips in there, as sort of a distressed look, I suppose. So although I wasn't planning on doing that, I've gone with it because it goes in with the whole distressed feel. Just adding those, and I've added one of the layered vellum butterflies from the Storyteller collection, which, as you could see, I was just lifting up the wings then, because they're absolutely beautiful. They've got like a vellum layer and then a card layer underneath, and they're just sewn down the middle. As you can see there, I actually left that in on purpose just to show you. First time I've used that pot of tacky glue, and I forgot that there's always that sort of seal underneath the cap. So I'm there squeezing, wondering why it wasn't coming out, and it's just like, oh yeah, I haven't taken the seal off yet. Never mind. So now just going through all the ephemera, and seeing what fits on the left hand side to go underneath the journaling card that I want to use to write sort of my memories on. I'm not usually one for using the birds straight away in the Vicki Boutin collections. I usually find them quite hard to use and quite random. But I love the feel of the birds in this collection. They're just slightly cuter than the other ones I've had before. But also the patterns she's used on them, I find quite endearing. So I'm going to write my journal in on the card before then sticking everything down. I'm quite happy with the placement there. So once I've journaled on the card, I will stick everything down from the bottom layer upwards then. Just trying to place that before I as I've sort of written right to the edge, so I can't tuck it in as much as I was planning to. I'm just going to stick the title down on top of the photo, but seeing as I've brought the photo up slightly with the foam, I'm just going to put a bit of foam on where it overlaps, just so that it doesn't sort of bend down unnaturally onto the paper once it's put into a Polly Pocket in an album. So I'm just using a bit of the wet glue just to stick each of the ephemeras, sort of tucked underneath the photos, the photo and the papers. And then the bird, I think he'll look better just with a bit of foam tape underneath him again, just to pop him off the page a little bit, make him stand proud above the flowers. And that's pretty much my page finished for today. I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will be back soon. Thanks, Em.